I'm Flo. I'm going to show you, hopefully, how to weld with Design Studio. Now, I've given a challenge to people to download Design Studio and to weld some letters with it. So I thought I'd better tell them how to do it, as some of them might not know. Now, on the left hand side here, you will see that we have the Cricut library. Now, if this normally comes up with all by category, now I'll try and zoom in with my camera and show you a little bit so that that's a wee bit easier. Now, this can be all by category, or you can choose my cartridges and my cartridges will come up, or if you choose favourites, your favourite ones that you've put in there will come up. Keywords, you will be able to select a keyword from one of the cartridges, and if you click this you'll find that all the keywords will be in here. At the moment, if you choose this project, it will come up with the cartridges that are in this project. But for now we're going to go all by category, which is what it will start with. Now with this we're going to come back up here, and if you come to the very top you'll find it's the font cartridges are listed first. It seems to for some reason go down to the bottom first. Now I'm going to work in Plantin Schoolbook, so it should be under P. So P, there we go. And if I double click on Plantin Schoolbook, you'll find then that Plantin Schoolbook will come up in this middle area, which, if I stop shaking the camera, is the overlay of what you will see if you put your overlay on the Cricut. Now, if you hover over any of these icons, you will find that they will enlarge and you'll be able to see them a little bit larger. That's great. They're not absolutely huge, but you do get a better idea of what they are. Now, there is actually 14 things that these little buttons do on the left hand side. If you leave them plain, on this particular cartridge you've got a font. If you press shift, you've got the uppercase of the font. Now that's one. This one here will give you a different font. It's slightly wider, thicker. This one's slightly smaller, and each one is slightly different. Now when there is nothing on the button like this, it usually means there's nothing there, but in Plantin Schoolbook there is actually something there, and that's something that you can we'll look at some other time. For the time being we're going to choose this particular font because I quite like it, and I'm going to choose shift because the word I'm going to write is going to have a capital letter. I'm going to write the word Easter. Now I've set my slide bar over here. Hang on, we're not, yep, you can just see there. Now if you see here, you'll find that I've got 2.5 inches set, and if you click either side of the slide bar, that will go down. If I click on this side, it'll go up. Now it depends on how far across the slide bar I click as to whether it goes up in half or smaller increments, and I can bring it back down. Now if we look over on this side, you will see over in this panel over here, this is the top right panel, that you have the width, the height, the slant, rotate, turn, revert, apply, kerning, nudge, welding and flip shapes. Now today we're actually going to go into welding, so I'm going to click welding. Oh, it's not going to click for me. So first of all we'll put our cursor on the mat, and I'll zoom back out so that you can see the mat a bit better. Now I'm going to keep fairly well zoomed in so that you can see what I do, and I'll explain what I do, and I'll bring that just a little bit further out so that you can see what I'm doing. Now I've chosen the shift lock on here, and I'm now going to write Easter. Now if I choose the shift lock on the keypad up here, that will give me a capital E. If I choose the shift lock on the computer keyboard, it will not give me a capital E. So I'm now going to take shift off because I want the rest of my letters in lowercase. Oops, I don't want that one. So I'm going to go backspace. Now backspace does work on the keyboard as well as on here. E-A-S-T-E-R. And you will see now that the last letter there, if I zoom in a little bit, is actually dotted, and hopefully you can see that dotting. Now I'm now going to show you where I'm going, which is up here, and I'm going to click this letter here, the R, and I'm going to turn it red, and then I'm going to go up over here and I'm going to click the weld, which now will highlight with a tick, and I'm going to go nudge. Now I'll zoom out again while I'm doing this, just so hopefully you can see both. I've got nudge up here, the red is highlighted, so I'm now going to highlight that until the letter comes over and touches the E. Now that might be a little bit much, so I'm going to take it back one. Now I'm going to highlight the E and I'm going to nudge that over until it touches the T. Then I will do the same each way. Now all the time my welding tick is on, and you'll see that you can't necessarily touch both top and bottom of the letter, but it's enough to just touch part of the letter. Now we've done all those. Now there is icons over on this left side over here, and one of them is an eye icon, and this is a preview. Now if we click on that, you will see that the word Easter is now gone very dark around the outside edge, and if I come right the way in, you will see that the outside is dark, and some of those areas just there where it's welded are a little bit lighter. It's the dark outline that it will cut. And if you hook your Design Studio up and your computer up now to your Cricut Expression or your Cricut Create, you will be able to print or cut that now on the Cricut just as it is, and it will cut in that place on your mat, remembering that as we zoom out here, this little arrow shows which direction the mat will be loaded in. So this will actually be the top of your mat, and it will cut along the side of your mat. And that's a very important thing to remember, because if you put your paper down this way and it's going to cut that way, you have a bit of a problem. Now these little buttons over here, if I click this one, it goes to full view, and that leaves a view of your whole mat. If I click this one down here, it goes to 200%, and you can actually see the words and the letters very clearly, and you can see things like the little outline as to where the edge of the mat is going to be. Now that's a very shortened version of how to weld letters. I've done those letters at 2.5 inches, and that will cut now down the side of the page at 2.5 inches, and I will endeavour to see if I can cut that and show you it cut on some paper.